All right. I'm just checking the connection here. Okay, awesome. Here we go. So, welcome to the live stream, everyone. Seems like we got a few people on, which is great. My name is Casey. You don't know me. I'm calling in from Mount Vernon, Washington, and right now I'm on the trainer. So if you want to join me on Zwift, hit me up, c.crewman, and we can Zwift and stream together. Over to you, Sam.
Hello, I'm coming here live from Missoula, Montana, in my living room. Yeah, and my name is Sam.
Cool. And Sam and I and our buddy Nick, who was actually not able to join us today, I think because he's on XWA right now, the Cross Washington, which is a route that started on about a week ago on the Olympic coast, Pacific coast, and then crosses the state and ends on the east side. And so, unfortunately, Nick's not here with us today, but that's all right. We'll still go ahead with the presentation, and the three of us will be doing the Tour Divide. So I think that's a good transition here. I got some slides that we can walk through. Let's see. Awesome. So the Tour Divide. What is it? Okay, so the Tour Divide is an ultra-distance bikepacking race that follows the longest off-pavement cycling route in the world, the Great Divide mountain bike route. And that route is about 2,700 miles, and we'll be doing about 166,000 feet of elevation gain throughout the entire ride. So that's Mount Everest, about 6.7, almost 8 times doing Everest on our bikes. And the route was designed by the Adventure Cycling Association, and that's actually based in Sam's Town. And I think it was like in the 70s when the route was first kind of like in its beginning of design, and it's been going for a long time. People have been touring this route for a long time on bicycles. But recently, I think this was last year or maybe 2023, the most recent record was made, which is doing all 2,600 odd miles in 13 days, 2 hours and 6 minutes. Really impressive. And some of the rules, there's lots of rules to the race, but one of the big ones is that the competitors must complete the race solo and self-supported. We are not riding solo, and therefore we're not racing for the fastest known time or any kind of podium. So just want to put that out there. There's a lot of drama on the internet about, like, you know, following the rules and the racers, and there's a lot that I just want to clear that right here. So Sam, you want to take the next slide?
Yeah, but can you go back to the previous slide?
Oh, for sure. This one?
Yeah, so just to add a little bit, the route, there's a difference between the Great Divide mountain bike route, which is the route that was made in the 70s by the American Cycling Association, or by, I think that's the group, and the Tour Divide, because the Great Divide mountain bike route is a touring route, and then the Tour Divide folks tweak it a little bit, and it's moderately different or like slightly different, but the Tour Divide is based off the Great Divide mountain bike route. And then the people that are setting these fastest known times, like someone did it in 12 days, but it was not during the race, so it's like unofficial, are riding for like 19 hours a day, sleeping for 6 hours a night. Sometimes they need to cut sleep and sleep for less time. And I just think that's really interesting. Not something I have any desire to do, but these people are like superhuman that are setting these records. Okay, ready for the next slide. Okay, so we're going to be starting out going like 40 to 50 miles a day, and then hopefully getting some training on the route and building up strength so we can then go to like 60, 80, maybe even more miles a day. Kind of just, it'll depend on how we're feeling and what the course is like, as in like if we're crossing the Rockies one day, we might be more of a 60 mile or less day. But if it's all flat going through like New Mexico, then maybe, and we got a tailwind, maybe we'll be hauling ass and get a little further. One of our goals is to be sleeping on like national forest, or sleeping as cheaply as possible. So we're going to be like tenting, hopefully as much as we can. This route goes through like a ton of public land, so there should be plenty of options for hopefully dispersed camping and real cheap camping. Occasionally we might want to pay for our lodging, like maybe if it's like dumping rain out, or if I don't know, if something catastrophic happens, maybe we'll stay at a motel or something and clean up, get some good rest on a bed. And then for how we'll be eating. So the people that are setting the records are eating a lot of gas station and fast food, which is wild. It's like, it's really not good for your teeth and your body to be just eating like convenience store food. And then also like burning like 10,000 calories or more a day. We will probably not be burning that many calories a day because we're touring, we're not racing, but we're bringing camp stoves and are going to be just, hopefully cooking a lot of stuff, and also probably eating some stuff from restaurants or convenience stores or gas stations. But yeah,
We're not eating bugs.
That's right.
Okay.
That's one of our goals, is to not eat any bugs. Okay. Oh, as for getting water, we'll be like purifying natural water a good deal, and then also probably getting water from gas stations or whatever business we can get water from. We will be traveling through bear country. The way I see it, it's going to be the northern part of the route where the bears are a bigger deal. Not that there are no bears in like New Mexico and Wyoming, but I'm less worried about bears in the desert, and like when we're in Banff in Montana, I think there's probably just a higher density of bears. I could be wrong, but so I'm gonna bring some P-cord. Hopefully we can like hang our food, or maybe stay at certain sites that has kind of like lockers we can put our food in. Yeah, hopefully the weather's good for us and it doesn't get too cold and too snowy up on any passes. And then once we get far enough south, the weather could be in the hundreds, and if we have to, maybe we'll try to sleep during the day or take some like major siestas and be doing more riding early in the morning and late in the evening, or possibly even riding at night. And yeah, we're basically going to be backpacking, but on bikes.
Awesome. Thanks, Sam. So maybe some of you are wondering, Tour Divide, where will we be? And as you may have guessed, we're going to be following a lot of the Continental Divide, and we're actually starting up in Canada. So the start of the race route is in Banff, Alberta, and so we wanted to start with the Grand Depart, is what it's called, just because it's like really fun to be able to go and see the people who are actually racing and see them take off. And it's cool just to see like the big group of people that are all taking time out of their lives to go and do this route. It's a really, it's kind of a big thing, especially in the cycling world. Big Andy, what's up? Welcome to the chat. Yeah, so let's see, that is about 260 odd miles. And then we'll hit the US border, US and Canada. We'd be looking out for these guys on the left here, the Mounties, and drinking lots of maple syrup, probably. So next up, we have Montana. And I had some GIFs in here. They're kind of frozen, so if they look kind of funny, that's why. But Montana's a really big section of the route, almost 700 miles, and lots of elevation gain, over 40,000 feet of gain. And yeah, we're hoping to stop in Missoula on the way, and Sam's got some friends there. My partner might come out and join for a little bit in Missoula. And so I shouldn't say might, we're planning on it. So Dr. Elspeth, shout out to you. Stoked for you to join us. Yeah, so that's Montana. And then we'll continue on. There's just a tiny bit of the route that goes through Idaho, about 75 miles. And here Samwise Gamgee is reminding us what Idaho is known for. So small part in Idaho. We'll continue on through Wyoming. And Wyoming is pretty notorious for being a difficult section of the route, in that there's a lot of like really big weather there. And so we'll be crossing the Great Basin, and riders have been known to like experience some pretty really big like thunderstorms. So hopefully none of that, but that'll be another like 400 some miles.
Hopefully we have a tailwind.
Hopefully we have tailwind all the way through Wyoming. Would love to see folks in Wyoming. We got some friends in Lander. Maybe they could come out, say hey. Colorado is next. We'll say hello to John Denver. We'll avoid the Blue Horse at the Denver airport, and we'll probably be doing a lot of grinding up steep climbs here. Oh, and we got a friend, Clara, who's doing the Continental Divide, hiking it, backpacking. So maybe we'll run into her. We got friends all along the route. And then New Mexico is where the route ends, all the way down at the US-Mexico border. Yeah, and so that's kind of the gist. That's the short of it. But it's quite a long route, so we're looking forward to it. That kind of leads into the next slide I have. Why ride the Tour Divide? Maybe folks are curious why we chose this route. Sam, would you like to share some of your thoughts? I know we talked about this the other day, just a little bit, but
Yeah. Also, just to say this, I have no idea who or how many people are watching. So, hello to if there is anybody watching, and I can't see it, so it's kind of that's kind of funny. There could be no one there, and I would have no idea. But anyways, so that feels kind of funny, but yeah, I want to do this because it seems like a grand and a really big adventure. So it'll be the biggest. Oh, well, actually, I know that there's someone named Big Andy in here, so it looks like there's someone named Ben. Cool. Oh, what up, y'all? But I just want to go on a big adventure. There've been things that I've wanted to do over the years. Like I thought it'd be really cool. I still do think it'd be cool to ride around Lake Superior. I haven't done it yet, and so I just want to go, like, spend a lot of nights out under the stars, and also just like do something like this while I'm able to. My job allows me to take this time off, and they're being super supportive. So that's kind of where I'm coming from. There have been times where I've wondered, like, do I want to do the whole thing, or like would I be pretty content to just do the Montana section? Yeah, but also to get to see so much of the country also sounds really cool. And to get to see so much of the Rockies is something I'm looking forward to. So yeah, that's kind of what I got.
yeah, for me, I don't know. I guess it kind of goes back to when I was at Northland College. Sam and I both went to Northland. That's where we met. And yeah, my buddy Luke Myers, shout out to Luke, got me into mountain biking and then bicycle touring, bike packing. And that kind of planted the seed. And went on a number of like bike packing trips, some more successful than others, but I think I like during COVID 2020, I was feeling kind of like I needed to do something big and kind of prove myself, not to anyone else, but just to me. And I wanted to do this really big ride. I was like really inspired by sort of these superhuman characters who were like, you know, obviously if you're into the bike packing scene, you know, names like Lil Wilcox and the guy pictured here, Josh Cato. And they're just like doing these like really superhuman feats. And yeah, that was just something that I wanted to take on this really big challenge. And so obviously it didn't work out in 2020, just the way things were, everything was like a little too unpredictable, up in the air. But similar to Sam, I'm actually in between jobs, and in the past number of years, I didn't have a summer to do this, but now the timing is kind of lined up that it's the time to do it. So I'm really stoked that Sam was on board when I invited him to join, and I think we're gonna have a lot of fun out there. So Yeah. Okay, and then just a couple more talking points here. Are there any challenges that you foresee in riding this route? And then is there anything that you're looking forward to? Sam, if you're interested in sharing one or either of those for yourself, go ahead.
Yeah. There's something that I really enjoy about riding up, like from a low level up into the mountains. And it's something I don't know, gone to do at different places. Um, and it seems like oftentimes things can be really chill and even pleasant in the valley. And then once you get up to a pass, it can be really windy, it can be way colder, really rainy, or even like foggy and cloudy. And so, and then that's when my feet and my hands get really, really cold if I don't get totally soaked. And so I'm wondering how much of that we're going to be dealing with. And I find it really interesting how much of an austere environment it can be up so high. And it's also something that, like, there have been times when I had to turn around. There have been times when I had to jet home and get right in the bathtub, drop a warm bath. And there have been times that I just wasn't prepared. And I'm hoping we can be prepared for this. But I also am expecting that, like, whether it's on a pass or like even at lower levels, like if we get totally dumped on by a rainstorm, like, or God forbid our like sleeping bags get like wet, like these are kind of the challenges that I've been thinking about anyways. And these are things that I've experienced before, and I'm like, so that's probably part of why it's on my mind. But I'm sure there will be other challenges as well. Hope we don't run out of water. Apparently that happens to some people in New Mexico. There's some pretty dry stretches, but I think we're gonna bring a lot of water bottles, and so that shouldn't be too big of a deal. Yeah, hopefully there aren't any major mechanicals on the bikes. That could get hairy. I'm not the best bike mechanic. And then as for what I'm looking forward to, I kind of spoke about this earlier, but just to get to see the land is something I find really meaningful. And so that is something I'm really excited for. I haven't been in Colorado for a long time, but I think it's a really beautiful state. I think it's the best smelling state as well, because it just smells like pine trees and forests. But really excited to get down into Wyoming. That's a place I've been wanting to go back to for kind of just always. Generally, I always want to go to Wyoming, and so to get to see some new parts of it that I haven't seen should be very cool. I'm also looking forward to seeing cool bugs in the American Southwest. Last time I was there were some great moths that were like really hairy, and there were some leaf hoppers that I was pretty into. That's all I got for you.
Thanks, Sam. Yeah, challenges for me. I think that on these longer tours, like the mental challenge is like really hard for me. When you're just like on a bike for that long, like, and that's all you're doing for the day, you can really get caught up in your head. And yeah, like life, I think I just have found I do a lot of processing on like these big tours. So I think that's both a challenge and maybe something I'm looking forward to. And I'm really I'm really grateful. I was wholly prepared to do this route solo before Sam and I started talking about doing the ride together. And I feel like, I've already said this, but I feel very fortunate to have Sam and Nick joining and to have like that support. And so I'm looking forward to like the friendship and the support and just like the shared experiences that I'm sure we'll endure together. Both the bad and the good. So I think that'll be awesome. And I bet there's gonna be some pretty scenic vistas, some really stellar sunrises and sunsets.
Oh yeah.
So moving along, you may be wondering, how can you follow along? Well, we have a couple of options here. I'll be bringing a satellite tracking device. And if you would like to get the link for that, well, for one, it's right here, so you could write it down. Or you can just contact Sam or myself, and we can share that with you. And what that is it's just a Garmin InReach, and that is my personal tracking map. That being said, there's also Dot Watcher and Track Leaders. And Track Leaders is a compilation of all of the people in the race, and they're all on one line, which is the Tour Divide line. And hopefully I have yet to hear back from the race director to see if we're in on that line or not. But Track Leaders is one way that people watch the dots go down the divide. And dotwatcher.cc is actually a commentary. There's some people who are kind of doing what we're doing and streaming and doing commentary on the riders' progress as they're going down the Tour Divide. And then of course we have this YouTube channel. I don't know like what our upload frequency will be as we're going along. I would love to like make posts of our progress while we're like on the route, but I don't know what the service will be like out there. I don't know how much time we'll have to edit and compile footage. And then I also have Strava. I might be posting to Strava as I go using my cycle computer. And then, yeah, and then Sam talked about maybe doing a logbook, and we might be sharing that after the route is over. So
that'll be the basis for the book.
Yeah, so if you want to buy the book, stay tuned. We'll keep you posted.
No, I just think it'd be cool it could be good to just do some journaling to try to remember, like for posterity's sake, for myself, and I'd probably also share it with Casey and Nick, and then also like Casey has been talking about using a GoPro to get a good amount of footage, or at least some footage during this, and so I also was thinking that kind of like doing some journaling could contribute to like editing the videos later. Give some good background, a little bit of narration, help us remember stuff.
Yeah. Awesome. Are you curious in supporting us? I want to do a shout out to my buddy Dylan. He is the first amputee to race the Tour Divide. He's raising money for Range of Motion Project, which is a nonprofit, and you can find more information about that on the Radavist blog online. So if you're interested in financially supporting a Tour Divide rider, I would love to point folks in that direction. And then as for the three of us, we'd love encouragement on our socials, on
You can text
Strava,
me.
on text, a
Just
phone
text
call.
me.
Yeah. Yeah, that's like can be a huge morale boost when we're out there. So
I don't know how much service there's going to be out there, so I'm definitely prepared for there to be largely very little to no service, except when we're like pulling through, towns and whatnot. So if the response is a little bit late, that might be why. But know that we're thinking about our friends and our families while we're out there.
yeah, right on. All right, this is the end of the PowerPoint. And here's Sam and Nick enjoying the trail. Hopefully they're looking that happy in a few weeks here when we hit the trail. So I just want to do, before we open up for Q&A, I just want to do a shout out to our buddy Zach. He's on the XWA as well. And let's see, he's got 266 miles to go. So way to go, Zach. Hopefully you're feeling strong out there. Maybe you won't see this till the end of your tour, but you got it, Zach. Yeah, sweet. So now I'm just gonna open it up to any questions or comments people have. Feel free to post a comment. If you're watching on your mobile and you have an Android device, if you're not in the YouTube app, you may have to switch to a desktop browser, and then you have access to the chat. I would imagine if you're in the YouTube app, you can do that, but please drop a comment down there. I see Kate Cravens. Didn't know Casey's a Northland buddy. Yeah, Sam and I actually, we had a lot of mutual friends, and we got much closer when I made a posting when I was working for Knowles that we were hiring. I made a posting to Instagram, and Sam was like, hey, I want that job. And we hired him, and Sam and I got really close over those seasons. And it's been fun getting to know Sam, even beyond Northland. So Ben's asking, what will the weight of the bikes be? Sam, do you have an answer for that?
No, the bikes are going to be heavy. So the bikes are very light. They're both Cutthroats. They're both Salsa Cutthroat, which is a bike that was designed by Salsa for the Tour Divide. And it's one of the most popular bikes ridden by racers anyways. The bikes are nice and light, but we'll have our sleeping gear, cooking gear, a little bit of clothing, food and water. And so that's gonna add a lot of weight. I'm hoping to have like at least 4, maybe 5 or 6 liters of water on the bike. So anyways, we'll get back to you if we're able to weigh our bikes, but I'm afraid they're going to be pretty heavy.
I know this is not really helpful at all, but the Salsa Cutthroat 56 is About 24 pounds. Yeah, that was just a quick AI result on the internet. So not super heavy for a bike, but not super light either. And especially when we have everything loaded up, it'll be like Sam mentioned, it'll be much heavier. Big Andy, what is your setup? Yeah, so Sam and I are both riding the Salsa Cutthroat. My bike's right here. My setup is I have a rear rack from Tumbleweed. I have some bottle cages on that rack. I'm gonna have a frame bag here. I'm actually sewing my frame bag, so I need to finish that this weekend. And then I'll have some bags on the front fork, and then I'll have my sleeping bag up on my handlebars. I'd imagine Sam and Nick have a very similar setup. Sam's riding a Salsa Cutthroat, and Nick has a Salsa Fargo, which is a very similar bike, only it's a steel frame with a carbon fork. So we're all kind of going like the bike packing setup. We're not using panniers. They just can get jostled off on some of the more sporty parts of the route, and they're less aerodynamic on narrow trails where there's brush on both sides. Panniers can get caught on stuff.
We also both have aero bars, hoping that makes a big difference.
Yeah, we're going aero mode out there.
And unlike Casey, I'll be putting my sleeping bag on the back of the bike. So.
Oh, nice. I'm actually bringing a tent. So that's like not typical for racers. Maybe a lot of people will bring a bivy, but I'm prioritizing comfort on this tour. Yeah. Kate asks, who's Nick? Nick is a friend of mine and Sam's from Bellingham. And we met on the Black Cat Ride, which is a community bike ride that happens in Bellingham each week. And that's just our local like bike crew. Yeah, that's how we met Nick. And Nick's a chiller. Shout out to Nick. Wish you were here, Nick.
Yeah, Nick is amazing on the mountain bike. He can ride things that really scare me. So, yeah, he's also a really funny dude. So, super stoked for him to be joining us. It's unclear to me how much of the ride he's going to be doing with us. So, like, I'm not positive he's going to do the whole thing. I really hope he does the whole thing, and I want to kind of like persuade him to, but who knows? And then Tori, thank you. Miss you.
Yes, Tori.
I hope you're living large. Someone named Worm Lover is wondering, what gas station food are we most excited to eat? I guess I don't know. I don't need to be narrating the questions. I don't know if you all can see them, but I'm assuming everyone can see the chat or the comments. So I really like it when gas stations have homemade cookies. It's kind of a rarity. There's a gas station called Holiday that has really good cookies, but at least in Missoula, it's changed its name to QuickTime or something, but they still have the cookies. I think I saw a Holiday in New Mexico last time I was there, but
I'm looking forward to the hot dogs. If someone wants to buy me a hot dog, just hit me up. Hit me up on Venmo. Yeah. My mom's saying hi. Hi, Mom. Thanks for tuning in. Ben says, are you guys going to be wearing matching singlets? You know, I looked into buying like matching socks and they looked really cool. I like even designed them, but it was like, you know, a minimum order of 12 pairs and, you know, I could only get them all in the same size. So unless everybody on this chat and then some, yeah, we only have 8 people on the chat right now. Phone your friends. If I get like a huge order of socks, I'll put in the order, but we might have to have them shipped to us underway because, you know, that kind of thing takes a while. So unless,
Cool.
yeah, unless there's some salad jerseys kicking around.
Okay. So we're gonna be leaving on the 13th. That's when the grand depart is. June 13th at like
Great
8
question.
a.m. is the grand depart. So we'll leave. I'll leave a couple days before that and drive up to Canada, pick up Nick and Casey from the airport. I'll also be with Emma, and then we will spend a couple days in Banff, and then get on the road. And Emma will bring my car back to Missoula. If someone were to come ride and visit, okay, yeah, that's an excellent idea. People are definitely welcome to visit us or try to ride with us. So something we haven't mentioned yet is that this is going to be, we're trying to do it in a month and a half. So the Cycling Association recommends doing it in 2 months, just so you have time to like stop and enjoy and the scenery and visit the towns and whatnot. A month and a half seemed good to me because it's not super fast, but it's like fast enough that I can hopefully afford to take that time off and then get back home and get right back to work. But so if we're going 60 miles a day, this is a really long answer. It'll take us exactly a month and a half with no rest days. Where the most appropriate place to visit is kind of up in the air. But Dr. Elspeth is coming to Missoula, and so that could be someone to talk to about potentially carpooling. Or, I mean, I don't know if, anyways, you know, I have no idea if the doctor wants to do that. But, and then I've got hopefully some friends that want to ride with us in Missoula, and so potentially meeting us in Missoula and then riding down to like Helena and then carpooling or catching a bus back could be the move. But we would love to see anyone like basically anywhere along the way. So just hit us up, and then also if Casey's kind of tracking our location, that could be a good way to like kind of see what our pace is like and kind of project when we'll be where, which is something that I've yet to do. But yeah.
Stuart asks, is it hard to ride together if you all have different paces? That's my dad. Hi, Dad. Welcome to the chat. That's a great question. I think that does pose a challenge. Luckily for us, like I've ridden with Sam a lot when he and Emma were living here, and I know that our paces are pretty close. So yeah, I don't know. That's something we've like talked about a little bit and like it's something that I think we're just gonna have to figure out when we're out on the trail. And yeah, and we have talked about like, you know, if somebody's slower than somebody else, you know, are we gonna like meet up, have a meet up at the X at the end of the day? That's something we're still kind of discussing. So, but yeah, that's it. That's a great question. And I will say that we're all, the three of us, myself, Sam, and Nick, are all like prepared and capable of riding solo. We all have the maps. We all have our own like sleep system, the ability to carry food and water. So if somebody decides to bike separately for whatever reason, it's not like they're out of luck.
Yeah, we talked a little bit about not doing the whole thing together. By that I mean like splitting up for like part of a day or like for a day and trying to like get some solitude. And I think that was something that Casey brought up, and I think that's a great idea. Like, we don't need to be riding together and chatting the entire time, and especially if we're, I don't know, want to be thinking or whatever, you know, need some alone time. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna need a lot of alone time, Sam. I hate to break it to you.
Sweet.
There will be no talking for 6 weeks.
I don't have any way to download music on my phone. That's something I've been a little worried about. I can download podcasts, but no music. I'm gonna bring some earbuds. Anyways, Tori says, buy them. I think that's in reference to the socks.
Yes. Yeah, somebody else said 3 pairs of, Kate says, put down 3 pairs of socks for the Cravens men.
Yeah, that's my mom.
Okay.
Hey, Mom. And we are all the same sock size. So
nice.
There.
So
Awesome.
Sam, why aren't you pedaling right now?
Yeah, I went for a bike ride earlier today. I don't have a trainer. My last apartment, my buddy Andrew was getting rid of a trainer, and I could have accepted it, but relations with the downstairs neighbor were already bad enough, and I figured getting a trainer would only make things much worse. So, also I like to ride outside. I ride outside. I now have like a spare room. We have an office, and I could put the trainer in there, but I don't know. I don't know if I would do that. I don't know if I would be riding it if I got one. So but I went for a bike ride today. And I was investigating the spur. So the route does not go through Missoula. So I was investigating a route that goes from Sealy to Missoula, and it was rowdy. It was too steep to ride up. A lot of it, I was going from Missoula up, but I was pushing the bike, which is not good for the back. And it was also pretty snowy up there. My shoes got soaked. Luckily, I brought a spare pair of socks. And the snow at times was like, oh God. At times it was like 5 feet deep.
Wow.
Not continuous. It was patchy, but it was pretty rowdy. Worm Lover says, good point, Kate. And this is Emma, by the way. So, nice. Yeah, it seems like there's some people that want me to get a trainer. I could be reading this wrong, but I don't really know what to say.
Well, if there's not any more heckling or questions, yeah, just want to say thank you all for tuning in, and we're really looking forward to this ride. You know, it's been a long time coming, and now's the time. And we've all been putting in the mileage in preparation for this, so we couldn't
Nick
be
especially.
more excited. Nick especially. Nick is out there right now. Go follow him on Strava. He's posting some pretty cool photos of Greater Washington. Yeah, there's one last comment here. The crewmans will buy socks, but only if they make us look cool. It's pretty guaranteed. Yeah. It's guaranteed cool socks, okay? So don't you worry.
They're toe socks?
What's that?
So they are toe socks?
Oh, toe socks. Unfortunately, that was not an option. Yeah.
Well, thanks for tuning in, everybody. I've never done a webinar like this before, so wasn't really sure what to expect and what we'd be really bringing to the table. But anyways, yeah, thanks for tuning in and showing some love.
Yeah, thanks everyone. I imagine we might be doing something similar to this on the tail end, and it'd be fun to do a recap and kind of talk about our experience, and again have a slideshow and maybe share some journal entries and some video clips. So yeah, until then, we'll keep you posted, keep in touch. We love you all, and we look forward to sending some photos from the trail. So we'll talk to you all again soon.
Cool. Yeah. Love y'all. Peace.